everybody, welcome back to Latina Meta. So glad to have you here. Today we're going to be discussing part 1 of a part 2 video series, and it's going to be all about SAR. Now today we are going to be discussing 1. What is SAR? 2. What are the teams in SAR? And 3. Who are the people involved in SAR? Without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay guys, so to answer your first question, what is SAR? So SAR, again, is going to be short for search and rescue, but it's basically a group of people, trained professionals that provide highly trained, I guess you could say, services, rescue resources to local, county, state, and federal government agencies during times of emergency. And let's just talk a little bit about what that means. So each county pretty much has a team, but if they're ever lacking in resources, they will call neighboring counties. So for instance, you might be here in the state of California, but you might be deployed to Nevada if there is a situation and they need help out there. So let's talk a little bit about search and rescue itself, right? So there's 3 different types, and there is ground search and rescue. We're going to talk about urban search and rescue. And then we're going to talk about air and sea rescue. But before we get into that, I just want to generalize that there's aerial search and rescue, right? That's looking for somebody from up above, from the sky. Sometimes it involves drones. Ground, so you're actually going to have a team that is out there searching for folks wherever they may be. Sometimes this can be in the city, sometimes this can be out in the wilderness, so on and so forth. You might have somebody that has gone missing at sea, right? There we go, at sea. And so that's a whole different type of search and rescue. And so there's different teams, and those teams start off at a very basic level, and then it gets more and more into detail. So I'm going to talk a little bit about ground search now. So ground search and rescue is the search and rescue for people who are lost or in distress on land or inland waterways. So traditionally this is associated with being in a wilderness zone. It's becoming more common that ground search and rescue services are required for urban areas where people who may have like autism or Alzheimer's, dementia tend to wander off. So people sometimes that are in skilled nursing facilities but wander, sometimes people that are in hospitals and they wander. So that would be an example of like a ground search. But again, traditionally this is more like in the wilderness. But yes, so urban search and rescue is the location and rescue of people from collapsed buildings or other urban and industrial entrapments. And this is due to the specialized nature of this type of situation. You may need other agencies there. So, law enforcement, EMS, fire, things like that. So these teams have specialty components as well. Canine teams would be a component, having structural engineers, heavy rigging specialists. Again, if this is like a big building that is collapsed, very important to have a variety of people there to aid in that situation. So now we're going to talk a little bit about air and sea rescue, which refers to the combined use of aircraft and surface vessels to search and recover survivors of aircraft downed at sea, as well as sailors and passengers of sea vessels in distress. And don't mind me if I'm looking at my notes, there is the way. Okay, so hopefully that gives you a little bit of a background. Also know that when somebody goes missing, that would be search and rescue to go out there and look for them, whether it's a child abduction or it's somebody who was on the trail, got lost, a hiker, a biker, someone who's in an avalanche or something of the nature. That's all search and rescue that goes out there. Okay, so next we're going to talk about the teams. So point number 2, what are the teams in SAR? There are 5 teams, but this is according to my county. So make sure you guys do your research, and I'm going to put links to some of the resources that I used to look up some of this information for you guys. I wanted to make sure it was a little diverse. Well, yeah. So first, let's talk about the technical team. And the technical team, this is going to be for people who have like mountaineering pursuits or are interested in climbing, bouldering, rock climbing, that kind of thing. So this team, guys, is very skilled in high angle rope rescue systems, and some of the operations can vary, but they can be up to 7,000 feet of elevation. So for this team, you do have to be physically fit, a little bit more than maybe other members would have to be. And these teams train all year round, both in the summer and the winter, and sometimes they are there. Well, here in my county, the team here will train in the Sierras during snow season. So yeah, guys, I will say that there is, I believe SAR provides rescue equipment for the specialty team, but then the team members are also expected to have their own survival camping, snow, ice related equipment as well. So those are things to keep in mind. Second, we're going to talk about the ATV team. So this specialty team may be assigned to duties to assist with initial hasty searches, containment duties, equipment transportation, and subject evacuation. So of course graduates are going to have, graduates with this team are going to have ATV riding knowledge, safety, take like safety classes and stuff, maintenance classes to like, know how they work and things like that, ensure that they're familiar with this equipment and things of this sort. So you don't have to have your own ATV to join this team, but you do have to have DOT, I say DOT for sure, but it's DOT approved off-road motorcycle helmet and goggles, gloves, and that's about it. So moving on to the third team, we are talking about the parabolic microphone, and this one is so cool because Santa Clara County was the first county to introduce parabolic microphone into like search and rescue operations. And so from what I know about it, basically, if you guys have ever been to a football game and you've seen a person holding like this translucent looking, it's a circle looking thing, it kind of looks like a satellite dish, and they hold it and they go around like this. It's what it does is it amplifies sound. And what's really cool about that is that if somebody goes missing, and I'm going to read it from their website, but if somebody goes missing and you have someone who is potentially responsive, right? Like they're yelling like, hey, I'm over here, but like our ear can't hear like that far, right? We can't hear 1,000 meters away. That's what the parabolic microphone is for. So I'm gonna read this really cool quote about what it does, just to give you all an idea. So in calm weather, unaided listeners can detect and comprehend more than 50% of callers out to 1,200 meters. But use of a 26-inch parabolic microphone, which is the one that Santa Clara County has, extends this to 2,500 meters or more than 1.5 miles. This means a single 360-degree arc would cover almost 20 square kilometers. So that's really neat. So that's parabolic microphone. Next, we're going to talk about the canine team. So as you guys are probably familiar with canine units and law enforcement, it's very similar for search and rescue as well. So some of the dog handlers, they are trained and certified already, and then they join the team, but they will also train you if it's something you're interested in. Nevertheless, so there's trailing dogs, and they follow specific scent trails and are used in both wilderness and urban environments. Second, there's cadaver and water certified dogs, which are used to help locate the bodies of victims who have died either on land or by drowning. Okay, now we're gonna move on to the last team, which is tracking. Okay, so tracking is exactly how it sounds. This team is going to try to figure out where this person was. They're going to be looking for footprints. They're going to be looking for any signs that this person may have, been in a certain area, and they're going to narrow it down. Obviously, so that the search is a little bit more effective. Not all situations in search and rescue are going to have a happy ending. Sometimes, you know, there are deceased persons or people. Also, learning how to secure a crime scene would be something that is also taught in the academy. So, this is the last point, but I hope you guys are getting some kind of background as to like what SAR is. So third, who are the people involved in SAR? And I'm going to read this from the National Association for Search and Rescue, okay? Yeah, I'm gonna read it. Search and rescue is an essential service that is performed primarily by professional volunteers. The National Association for Search and Rescue is the only professional non-profit association that supports the education and certification for SAR responders and advocates for volunteer protections. So they're volunteers from all walks of life. And that means, well, obviously having like medical experience is going to be a plus. And I'll get it a little bit into, in part 2, what are the requirements. And we can talk about the medical requirements, CPR, and like first aid. But yeah, guys, so don't let it deter you if you don't have medical experience, because they take volunteers from all walks of life and they will train you, assuming you are able to get into the academy. So this video is getting a little long and I'm going to leave you guys on that note, but I hope you enjoyed the video, and look out for part 2, because I'm going to be talking about how I got into SAR, the experiences that led up to me eventually seeking it out, applying all that stuff, and then I'm going to also discuss the steps that I had to take, everything that's like required for everything that's required, background check and making sure you have all the paperwork, and then what are the next steps if you get in. So stay tuned for that, guys. I can't wait to share it with you. Stay healthy, stay safe. I'll see you in the next one.